Hey guys, what's going on? Alan here. Thanks for tuning into the garage. And today we're working on my Chrysler 300. This is an 06 Chrysler 300 Limited with 3.5 liter V6 for those of you that are new to the channel. If you've been following along, you know that this is my $1,000 06 Chrysler 300 that I gave to AJ holding the camera there. A company reached out to me. They first offered me some struts that for the 06 Trailblazer that I don't have anymore. I was like, well, I got a Chrysler. So here we are doing an unboxing and installation video of struts and rear shocks for an 06 Chrysler 300. While we're in here too, we have these extra control arms that were part of the Magnum. We're gonna throw those in too because those bushings and ball joints are probably shot. Okay. Alright. What do we got here? Oh, those are the rear shocks. Packaged really well so far. It's got all this extra cardboard. There's styrofoam in the ends of this thing. It's all good stuff. They are banded too. It looks like they are banded as well. Same situation here. Looks good. Really well. Really good unboxing for like a, I don't know, like an Amazon company, I guess. These guys really want to get their name out there, so they agreed to give me all of this for free. And so far, just unboxing, they're not disappointing. Okay. Okay. Looks like the top of it poked through. Yeah, when I had gotten it, it was actually poked all the way through both boxes and sticking out. Both of these struts are going to be sticking out, and just like that. But doesn't look like it's damaged, thankfully. So these are upgraded as well. Remember when we got when we did struts for the 06 Trailblazer, and we were upgrading from OEM style. OEM style only had like 8 coils, and the new style had like double, 16. It looks like this company has gone and done the same thing. Gave you more coil spring there. I don't know what that equates to, honestly, but part of the deal is taking it for a test drive, so we will definitely be doing that. That was a 1-800 number, some contact information in case there are any problems, so that's a good sign right away. They're not afraid of you contacting them, you know, and asking for a little help. Or say I wanted to call them bitch about that. That wouldn't even be their fault as shipping, but even though there was styrofoam at the ends, maybe, you know, and obviously it punched through all of that, so maybe they could come up with making a slightly bigger box and putting some of those cardboard chunks at the end of it there, just to like, well, obviously to protect it. Just like that.
Yeah, that's plenty.
All right, so we're gonna have AJ zip off this sway bar link from the other side, then we'll zip off the bolt from the other side of the bottom of this mount here. And just brought something else to my attention too. If you have the original shocks for these or struts, you'll know that this nut is welded on to the strut. So just like the Duralast ones actually from AutoZone, I had to cut, and I'm going to have to cut these ones too off so I can reuse them on those, because if you notice, there aren't no nuts. So we'll start with the link. We'll start, and then we'll zip that and bolt out there. Put just a little pressure on this jack just to take the weight off of the strut. Then we can undo the top 3 here, right here, these 3, hopefully, and then hopefully we can wiggle it out through the back or through the front or some which way. Nice. Push that out of the way. So I guess no pressure was really needed. With all the suspension bolts still tight, it's still kind of holding the suspension up a little bit. So I think we're just gonna have to take off the upper control arm too. Since we're replacing it anyways, might as well. We'll start by knocking this guy off, and then we'll do the two mounts that are on either side of this tower pillar thing. I took out the air box. There's just one little bolt here, hose clamp here, connector, air box comes out. Two little bolts here. This unslides, this scoots over, then you can get to those control arm bolts here. And this little window over here helps you see that other bolt. It's difficult, I ain't gonna lie, get your hands in there. It's like a little tiny 1/16 of a turn at a time situation, but it's doable. It's doable. Oh yeah, it's got some good pressure. You're gonna want to prime these at least 10 times. Oh yeah, you can feel the air come out of them. There we go. It actually only takes like a couple before you really get most of it done, but they say 10 times just to be sure. And what I'm just realizing is this isn't coming with that flange. So we're gonna have to see if we can get that flange off of the old one. Okay. This is a KYB shock, so doesn't want to go very fast at all. So that's a blown shock, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen how fast that other one goes up and down. We just got to figure out how to get this off. Good morning. Some things to go over. Last night you saw me start to work on the back shock, but there is a little snafu. Now, first of all, I want to say that it did come with instructions, okay? And these instructions actually are by far probably the most comprehensive instructions I've seen in, and I want to keep saying Amazon product, but Amazon is just a medium these guys are using, right? Just another place to sell it. Usually stuff you get from Amazon is definitely from overseas. When you get instructions is what I'm trying to say. It looks like someone from another language wrote it and then translated it terribly. Words missing, all out of place. This was definitely written by someone who knows the language and speaks it every day. So that's a plus to see that. And they are kind of general instructions, but they do cover you know, our style. So they've got instructions for both double and single bolted. They're kind of general, but they cover the basics. However, they don't say anything about having to remove this nut. This nut has to be cut off so I can reuse it over here. And also, there's no instructions for the back at all, which generally, you know, you shouldn't need instructions for just a set of shocks unless you've got to do something like this. But someone like me would definitely like a piece of paper giving me a tip or two on what I should do with this. And so luckily you guys got me. I'm gonna tear apart everything in here, and that's kind of my job on this video, is to go through these things and tell you the pros and cons, which we'll go over at the end of the video. Well, that was a little sketchy. I wasn't sure if that was gonna break loose or if I was gonna strip out the end of this bar or not, but it popped loose finally. Okay, nut, big fat washer, concave, that direction. Okay. And that's that. I've got everything sitting here, but first of all, we're comparing, I just noticed something, but we're comparing these Amazon shocks to KYBs. Now these are the XLGs, obviously every brand's got a cheap option, but I mean, look at the size difference in the two bottom mounts for the rear shock. Damn! That's definitely going to be an upgrade no matter how you look at it. More surface area, more bushing is always going to be more comfort. And when we're chilling in a Chrysler, we need comfort. As far as the front top goes, we've got, let's see, we'll stick these here are flush. First of all, this is what came on it. Now they had the top, the bigger washer sitting on top when they packaged it, but I'm gonna put the bigger washer on bottom like that, because that would kind of represent this giant big washer. That's where we're gonna put the new one. And this does have a steel sleeve in the center, so that's good. We'll be able to feel that nut tighten up. And hopefully there's a bump stop underneath that, which is metal, by the way, and not plastic like the KYBs. Put that one, nope, wrong one. Big one on bottom. This guy here. Put that guy there. Now, one other thing I noticed too is that this new one's got much more thread. It's about a 1/2 inch longer, but it shouldn't be a problem. I just got to do the other one. Wow, unbelievable. Look at this. This is the passenger side. This top mount is installed upside down. Is it still a KYB? Yeah, so apparently the KYBs didn't come with that top piece either, and whoever did the KYBs put in one wrong. Well, that's interesting. Some defect with the nut. When it got to the lock part of the nut, it just started carving away. You know, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to blame manufacturer for that. Just an accident, I think. A defect in the nut. Because it went on fine until it got to the lock nut part. That shit just happens, I guess. Now we need to move on to cutting these nuts off of the old shocks. New shock in. I think I'm gonna put the bottom in first. I did lay it back down on the ground. Make sure you primer. Prime them, not primer them. Ooh. See, that's another thing. This big washer will not fit through that hole in the body, so that would have been a big mistake if I'd have done it. If I'd have done that. Okay, so I got the rear shocks on. Not putting tires on just yet. We got something we want to do with the rims first. These shocks are in. AJ is also working on this whole side while I was doing that. So we got the front passenger side in already. We just got these control arm bolts still sitting loose. AJ's pulling out the control arm on the driver's side now. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't do that with my hand.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay. He's gonna grab the new one and slide it in place real quick. Yay! Nice. Slide those bolts in. Dang. Look at that eyeballing skills. Tab on the inside. Okay, let me throw a nut on that. Hold it up there for you. Okay, you can let go of that. Control arm down. Bring that control arm down. Oh, this guy up here. Now we can rest. And feed in that bottom bolt, but everything is going together just fine. So for this link arm, you're gonna want to get a 21 mil on the nut and then a little 10 mil here. You just send it the rest of the way with a wrench with the box end. Yeah, and it won't spin once you get it there. So we're gonna get this tightened up. Well, we got the headlights looking really good. Crystal clear. The rims we did not get as lucky on the rims. We went through like 8 cans of Easy Off, and then we went through a quart of that aircraft remover. And this is pretty much as far as we could get, as that stuff would get. That's no scrubbing or anything. Just putting that on and spraying it off. This one we started using the nylon bristle wheel to get the rest of the black paint off, and we got down to the original primer. You can see there's some metal in some spots, but we got all everything else off almost, except for the original primer. So that's just gonna have to hold for now. We're gonna have to drive around like this, but it's okay.
What?
Well, yeah, man. It's not in the cards. You need a radiator first. And then we can go take these in somewhere, either to get polished or powder coat silver, some sort of like sparkly silver aluminum. We're not sure yet. Feels way better.
Yeah. Feels a lot more responsive.
Well, it's just not bouncing. Like there's no shocks at all. Usually I'd just be floating down the road. Like they would say, floating like a Cadillac.
It does feel a lot more like mom's car now. A lot stiffer.
Yeah, but I mean, not nearly as stiff as mom's car.
No, not nearly as stiff.
Nah, man, it feels great. I'd say that's a win. Everything feels great. I mean, they feel like it's brand new. Front shocks, rear shocks.
And there's mom.
And there's mom. Ooh, there's a big bump. You didn't even feel that.
There was a bump?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, well, that's gonna do it, I think, for the video. Well, I know that's gonna do it for this video. The shocks and struts are in. It feels 100 times better. This car feels a lot safer. I also put new control arms in, which might have something to do with it too, but I mean, I'm super happy compared to the price. You guys got to check out the link below. I think they're going to give me a little discount code for you guys to click on. Go ahead and check that out. So go ahead and check these guys out in the link below. This is Autosaver88 on the Amazon store. These is like just over 200 bucks for all 4 pieces. If you go to Duralast or AutoZone and you were to get just one strut, just one corner is about $200 or more. So you're saving a ton of money. And the drive feels really good. If you guys are strapped for cash, and I know that there's not a lot of options out there because you're not worried about who to trust online and you definitely don't want to spend $600 out of the store, check out Autosaver88, click the link below, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you can see our next video, and as always, thanks guys. Have a good one. You can send it most of the way with oh, I did it the wrong dang direction. Tightening's not tightening. You have to loosen it to tighten it when you're using the stud.